Today on the Norse Benchwarmers podcast, we will be discussing the results of Super Bowl 58, last week's NBA trade deadline, and a record-breaking week in NKU Basketball. And don't forget, as always, ending the show with the Norse Benchwarmers 2-minute warning. Hello and welcome back to the Norse Benchwarmers podcast. I am your host, Colton Smith, here joined by producer Josh Northcutt and special guest Ben Miller. Guys, how are we doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a rough couple days after that Super Bowl Sunday, but
definitely agree. Vacation was nice though, so that canceled out a little bit. But coming back to that Super Bowl, not so much fun.
Yeah, pretty much everybody but the state of Kansas, Missouri, and of course Swifties. Had a rough night Sunday night as we witnessed Super Bowl 58, where we saw Mahomes win his third championship of his career, winning 25-22, beating a hard effort from a 49ers team led by Brock Purdy, who put up a pretty great performance, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But, guys, are we in the Mahomes era now? I mean, it's 3 championships. Is that what we want to call it? And what did you see from that game?
Yeah, there's really no more debate. It's now the Chiefs versus the world. I've basically already decided I'm cheering for 31 teams next year. I don't care who wins.
Even the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't care who wins.
Even the Ravens.
I don't care who wins. It cannot be a three-peat with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I mean, yeah, I believe we're living in the Chiefs era. Like Patrick Mahomes, like what an incredible career. And he's not even 30 yet. I mean, 28, yeah. Like 3 Super Bowl rings and 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Like, that is unreal. Like, what a special talent he is. And he is so good for our sport.
He's ahead of Brady right now, right?
Yes, he's officially, if he plays as long as Brady, he's on path for 11 Super Bowls.
Oh, Bill Russell stats here? Like,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, like I would.
Don't worry, it's not happening.
I gotta tell myself that.
Yeah. So
for sure.
Talk about the game a little bit.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
For you guys, and Ben, you can go first. What was the biggest reason why the Niners lost?
To me, I think it was just the turnovers. Like their first possession, like C.J. McCaffrey fumbled. Like that's just mind-boggling to me. Yeah. C.J. McCaffrey fumbling on an opening drive. Like, dude is literally the best running back in the league.
3 fumbles all year, counting that one.
Wow. I mean, just wow.
Yeah, on such a great start from them.
Yep. Yeah. And another thing, like, I think the muffled pass, or excuse me, not the muffled pass, the muffled punt that they had. Yeah. I thought that was a difference maker for the Chiefs. Like, that gave them momentum. Like, in my opinion, if McCaffrey didn't fumble and if that muff punt didn't happen, I think the 49ers would have won this game.
I would add the blocked field goal as well.
Oh yeah, the blocked field goal. That was absolutely crazy.
If you get that one point, the Chiefs don't force it to overtime, and
they're still scoring a touchdown on that last drive.
True. Like, all right, but we can hope.
There was no stopping that.
We can hope, but yeah, I agree. I think it was the mistakes on the Niners side that really led to this. I mean, time and time again throughout these playoffs, the Chiefs have given their opponents as many chances as possible. Look back at the Ravens. Until Lamar threw that into triple coverage, they had a chance to win that game, in my opinion.
Right.
And once again, we see a early game fumble, which, I mean, they were headed for the end zone on that drive the way it looked. I mean, and then, like you said, the muff punt was something I hadn't even thought of going into this, but that was another big game. I don't know how I could forget, because I got up and left the room for a couple minutes. I was like, what the heck?
I mean, literally gave the Chiefs excellent field position.
Yeah.
And on that first play, touchdown.
Crazy. Yeah, I literally was walking up the stairs to go to my room for a minute, and I hear the woo, like just a cheering from the touchdown. It was that was just crazy. And that blocked kick, that was, you can't just sit here and point like you can turn around bad plays. Like, it's not just all the blame's on that, but it's really hard not to sit here and blame about that either.
So for me, I had 2 reasons. One was Greenlaw getting injured.
Yeah.
It seemed small. I haven't heard it really brought up in the media too much, but his replacement was thrown at 9 times. He gave up 9 receptions and a touchdown.
That's a great stat right there.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
9 receptions on 9 passes thrown that guy's way.
Wow.
So Greenlaw getting hurt played a big role. And then another thing for me was, so CMC only had 16 carries in 4 quarters. 16 carries. he carried the ball 6 times in overtime, and look how easily they went downfield. Yeah. And then they started throwing the ball when they got into the red zone, and what happened? They got stopped.
Yep.
I agree with that, but I don't think it was as egregious as with the Ravens game of them going away from it. I felt they went away from it in the third quarter, which I didn't understand why. But then I did notice them going back to it. And like you said, they charged down the field with Christian McCaffrey just like, why didn't this guy win MVP? Because he's a running back. But,
he should have been MVP. So also mentioning, what was your guys' thoughts on basically the 49ers saying, we don't know the new OT rules?
I didn't know them. I mean, I guess it's not my job to know.
But it's not our job.
Yeah.
But I'll admit I didn't know it either. But common sense says if the rules are the way they are, you take the ball second so you know whether you have to go get a touchdown or you have to get a field goal. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple, that's the only way to think about it.
Yeah, I agree. That was weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. Like going into an overtime game, you have to do your homework on what the overtime rules are, and that's just crazy how the 49ers were not aware of the rules. Like, you never hear this in the NFL, ever.
Mm-hmm. Chiefs were well aware of the rules.
Yeah. Yes, they were. And they were smiling, and Andy Reid was probably dancing on the sideline thinking about his cheeseburgers.
Oh, yeah. But we sit here a couple days removed from a Chiefs repeat. We could possibly be a year away from a Chiefs three-peat. Who can stop this team? Who do you guys think can stop this team? I'll start with you, Josh.
You want my heart pick or my head pick?
We all got heart picks and we all got head picks.
Yep. So my heart pick by far is the Cincinnati Bengals. Yep. Joe Burrow is the only active quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Plain and simple. The man has ice in his veins. It's what he does. They see the Chiefs and they just take it to another level. So Joe Burrow would be my heart pick and also my money pick. But if I had to pick a team to do it that's not them, I do like the chances of the Detroit Lions because they do something very well that Kansas City has struggled with, and that's run the ball. They don't go away from running the ball. Very rarely does it happen, and when they do, they lost. I'm going to say that they learned from that lesson. Their offensive coordinator's back, and the Detroit Lions can be a team to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs and stop the three-peat. Please beat the three-peat. Don't let it happen.
Just anybody. But, yeah, that's a great point because they're a young team that I think will only get better next year going into it. But, Ben, who do you got?
I mean, I got to go with the Bengals. I mean, like Josh mentioned, Joe Burrow, he's the only quarterback that can beat Patrick Mahomes. Like, obviously, he started 3-0 against him. But, yeah, like, just going into next season, like, if Joe Burrow is 100% healthy, like, they will go to Arrowhead next year, and I think they are going to knock off the Chiefs. I believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree there. I would throw the Niners getting back there. They definitely have the talent to do it and get that Super Bowl. But, I mean, they've already had 2 chances at it. Will they get a third? I don't know. But, yeah, just anybody but the Chiefs.
Anybody but the Chiefs.
Anybody but the Chiefs.
Yeah, we are going to go to a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk some hoops. Got the NBA trade deadline in the rearview mirror. All-Star game coming up. Be sure to stick around. Norse Benchwarmers podcast.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Ben Miller.
That's correct.
Ben Miller.
One of these times you'll get it right.
Yeah, one of these times. Today we're here to talk about some hoops. NBA trade deadline was last week. We got a big week coming up with the All-Star break this week. And let's start with the trade deadline, though, because we have some winners and some apparent losers here. And I want to talk about the Knicks, even though I'm not a huge Knicks fan or anything, but this trade deadline, this trade season has been insane for them. I mean, how do you get OG Anunoby, Alec Burks, and Bojan Bogdanovic, and really only give up RJ, who I felt never really fit in Thibodeau's system? I didn't think he was the Thibodeau type player, where OG Anunoby is a perfect fit in Thibodeau's system, in my opinion. They give up Emmanuel Quickley, who's a great talent, but they were pretty stacked at that position anyway, so they're not missing him too much right now. They gave up a second-round pick, and then to get Bogey and Alec, they got rid of Quentin Grimes, who is, I think, a great NBA player, but again, something about Thibodeau, they just never were able to get a rhythm going in 2 seconds. So they still have their future intact. They still have the mobility to go out and, make moves this offseason, improve on stuff. I think the Knicks by far won this trade deadline, but enough from me. What do you guys think?
So for me, Knicks were my choice as well. For every answer that you said perfectly, so I'm not going to waste my time there, except for I will say this. The Villanova Knicks, as I like to call them, are now the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. I truly think this team, if Julius Randle can get healthy, they will win the East. And finally, the Knicks will be back in the finals.
I don't doubt that.
But, yeah, I got to go with the Knicks as well. I mean, Burks and Bogdanovic, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name
close
right.
enough.
You're getting there. Bogey. Call him Bogey.
But, yeah, just looking at the stats between these two guys, I mean, they're both elite shooters, and I think they could be great with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle moving forward and possibly making a championship run. We'll see.
Yeah, I think you just added two guys that will win you a game or two in the playoffs.
3-and-D guys, exactly what they were missing to go great with the guard play that they have already. The other winner, though, I would say if I had to pick, is the Celtics.
Okay.
Because they didn't really make a crazy move or anything like that, but also nobody else really did. The Knicks did, and that was the clear winner to me. However, the Celtics kept their core together and are still a team, if that makes sense. They're getting game experience together and so on and so forth. It's Boston versus New York, Eastern Conference Final.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I never thought about the Celtics, but yeah, that's right. Everyone just kind of sat pat or whatever they put and, didn't really make any moves. But do you guys have any other winners from this?
For me, I would say the Thunder getting Gordon Hayward. I mean, Hayward, he's averaging 14.5 points a game, 4.6 assists, 36% from three-point shooting. I think he'll bring a lot of playoff experience and leadership to this OKC team. And, they could possibly end the year as NBA champions. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I could see it being a reminiscent of that year with KD, Harden, and Russ, where they got a chance to win a championship, but are they too young? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, they're still not beating Denver.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I like that the Gordon Hayward trade. It's a risk with his injury history, of course. I can't remember the last time he's been on the floor. Yeah. But all in all, it's a low risk trade in what you gave up for a guy that at nothing else will be a great leader who has playoff experience with his team. But for the losers, though, I got the Bulls. I mean, just sitting there doing nothing. Now they're in a position where they are going to have to either spend way too much on DeMar DeRozan or they just get nothing for him. And then you look at – I heard – I don't know – I can't remember what the source was, to be honest, but I believe it was Shams said that the Warriors offered a sizable deal of Moses Moody and some other compensation for Andre Drummond and Alex Caruso. Like, why wouldn't you take that in this position? Let's commit to the tank and, go forward. And I don't know. They're just stuck in this nothingness to me.
Yeah. Bulls were also mine, but my other choice was the Lakers for basically the same reason. We had all this hype of they're going to go out and they're going to get somebody, they're going to trade for somebody. I know Levine getting hurt kind of maybe stumbled the Bulls a little bit, but the Lakers needed to make a move, and now I know they got Dinwiddie, because of the cap wave rule or whatever, and signed him
somewhere there.
But I still think there's a legit chance we could not see the Lakers in the playoffs now.
I would combat that with what move that they would they make that would make them any better. Like adding Zach LaVine, adding DeJounte Murray would be great moves. It would make them better, I guess. My point is in the playoffs. When you get to the playoffs, is this really going to move the needle for them? And I didn't think there was any trades out there that really did.
Well, I can say from the lack of moves, I'm calling it now. LeBron James will not be playing for the Lakers next year.
Where's he going?
Really?
Dallas.
Okay.
Dallas. Wow.
Okay.
For myself, I would say the Hornets were the biggest loser. I mean, they signed Grant Williams. Like with Dallas, he was shooting 41% from the field while averaging 8.1 points per game. I just don't see that working out. Like getting rid of Gordon Hayward for Grant Williams, I don't like that.
Yeah. I will say I just watched them last night. They played the Pacers, and they looked pretty good, honestly.
Yep.
Like, they looked any better than any Hornets team I'd seen in a while. Of course, a lot of that new guys, the Pacers can't really plan for how they're all going to gel and whatnot. Pacers are the worst defensive team in the league. I don't know if they're actually the worst, but they seem like it on most nights. But, I don't hate that take. But I think the Hornets are in just such kind of like the Bulls where they're just in nothingness. They got LaMelo Ball, who just keeps them above the very bottom of the league, and then they just don't. Miles Bridges is good. I'm trying to think of the other guy. Oh, Brandon Miller's been looking very good recently too. Yep. So they do have like pieces that could lead to a future. But I don't think they made any moves that sort of accelerated that future. Just kind of, let's get rid of Gordon Hayward because he's got a big contract, and that was about it.
So we'll get a quick little 2-minute warning throw here. But NBA All-Star Game obviously is this weekend. Thoughts, overrated, underrated the entire weekend?
I think it peaked in 2016. I think since 2016 it has been an overrated event personally. I don't know what it is. It just needs something. It's probably underrated in how great it is to go there. But when it comes to just watching it on TV, I think it is overrated. But Ben, what's your take?
For my take, I think it's overrated myself because, like, whenever I watch the All-Star Game every single year, like, there's not really much competition. Like, they're just on the court laughing, goofing around, having a good time. There's not much passionate in it, and that's the thing I just don't like, really, in my opinion.
Simple as this, you can only see so many dunks.
Yeah.
Until the dunks kind of become blah. And I think it was Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine was primetime dunk, and it's kind of been blah since.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I think. But I mean, pretty much every game's also a 3-point contest as well. So like, what's the point in watching that? But keep the hoops on mind though. We'll be coming back to talk about a historic week in NKU basketball when the Norse Benchwarmers podcast returns.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Norse Benchwarmers podcast, here to talk about the Norse, as it was a historic week in NKU basketball. I'm joined here by Josh Northcutt and Ben Miller, of course. And women's, we'll start with the ladies first, as always. They're looking pretty good. They played Green Bay in a tough game. They lost 67-51, but they kept it close all but one quarter. If the third quarter stayed fairly even, they likely would have – it could have gone either way, at least at that point, which is great because Green Bay has been a team that looks like they're going to get an automatic bid. They dropped a game recently, so I don't know if that's still the case, but all in all, they took that good effort, went in on Saturday, down 11 with just 3 minutes to go, and came back to win 67-66 against Milwaukee. Clutch shots from Noelle Hubert, who was just in the studio with the raid, and she had a career-high 18 points, but Kamari Mitchell-Steen hit the dagger with from three to get that win. What did you see from these games, Ben?
I mean, from the Green Bay game, like you said, NKU, they kept it close, but the third quarter, they just got destroyed. I mean, 24-8 in the third quarter. And plus, they were without one of their key weapons, Carter McGray, who was number 5 in scoring and number 1 in rebounding. So I think with McGray's absence, that was a big part of their loss to Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, when you're missing that double-double machine, that hurts. And you would think she would get 10 to 14 points, which was ultimately about the difference of this game. So
absolutely, yeah.
So it would have been very interesting to see what would happen if they had or could have played a little spoil to a top team. But let's move on to a historic week for men's basketball, starting with Thursday versus Oakland, where they came back from a sizable lead there at the end, kind of like the women's did against Milwaukee. Michael Bradley was the star of the show, should have won player of the game, 26 points, 8 assists. And just a great effort there, looking good. But the big talking, everyone is talking about Saturday versus Detroit, where Marquise Warwick got 22 points, including an iconic free throw to put himself on top of the leaderboard. What a week, huh?
Yeah, what a week. I mean, to this Oakland game, this is a huge win for Northern Kentucky. I mean, Oakland, they come in second in the Horizon League, and it was going to be a tough team going in. I mean, Townsend for Oakland, he's 6th in scoring, 4th in rebounding in the Horizon League. And NKU, like, everybody just showed up. I mean, you got Michael Bradley, who you mentioned, had 26 points, like, had his best game of the season. Marquise Warwick with 20. Trey Robinson showed up with 20. Like, I feel like if we can see more of Michael Bradley and Trey Robinson playing like this, I feel like they can make some noise in Indianapolis and hopefully for an NCAA tournament bid.
Yeah, I think this team definitely has potential to make it deep in March, but it was a crazy week for Norse basketball for sure. What you see anything, Josh? I know you were on vacation.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much of it. Just kind of looked at the stat book, but what impressed me about Marquise Warwick's performance was out of the 22 points he scored on the record-breaking night, 0 were from 3.
0.
Not one basket from 3-point.
That doesn't shock me.
So obviously, like you guys have clarified, they were big wins. Get back over 500 in conference play and on the season. So looking forward to seeing what happens this week with 2 big games on Valentine's Day against first place Green Bay, and then they take on Milwaukee Saturday, who is just behind them in the standings.
Yeah, it's going to be – these next few weeks are going to be pivotal for the Norse in both conferences. I mean, the women have a chance to move up the rankings here. They play IUPUI, and which is a team – and Wright State. IUPUI is a team that is right behind them in standings. If they can kind of close that out, don't have to worry about them coming back, and then kind of focus on moving up the rankings one by one. They have time here to get a home game in the Horizon League tournament before we head to Indy.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to mention about that comeback, ESPN Analytics gave NKU a 0.5% chance of winning when it was at 3 minutes and 43 to go. Down 11, 3:43 to go, 0.5% chance of winning.
Wow.
Not 5%, 0.5.
Yeah,
crazy.
That is nuts. Crazy. And that's just a testament to how this team has just turned the corner here in the second half of the season. They are 5-3 in their last 8 games, and I could not have foreseen that at all at any point leading up to it. But the big thing is the consistency, the health, and they're looking really good and could make a run in what limited time we have left in the Horizon League season. But speaking of time limits, we have the 2-minute warning coming up after the break, so be sure to stick around for that when the Norse Benchwarmers podcast comes back.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Benchwarmers podcast, Colton Smith. I'm not even going to waste any time. Let's go straight to Josh. We have the 2-minute warning.
All right, simple questions again, throwing them right at you. We just need to pick. This is an all-star special. Who is your pick for the skills challenge, Ben?
I got to go with team top picks. I mean, Paolo Banchero, Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama, like the future of this league. I think they'll make some noise here in this challenge.
Colton?
I would probably agree, but I got to go with the team Pacers. I mean, they're in Indianapolis. I'm a Pacers fan. I'm an Indiana native. I got to go with the team Pacers.
Top picks, simple. 3-point contest, I'm going Trae Young. What about you, Colton?
I got Trae Young as well. Damian Lillard is my favorite player of all time, but I think Trae Young has a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to get this win.
Ben?
I'm going Trae Young as well. I mean, he's had a great season, 3rd in the league in 3-point shooting. I think he'll make some noise in this contest. Trae Young for me.
And then Colton, last but not least, dunk contest.
I got Mac McClung. He's the only one in this that I could see doing something that would blow my mind and win it, but
Ben?
That's who I got.
For myself, I'm going Mac McClung as well. I mean, just watching him from college, like Georgetown days, like he's always a guy who is nasty at the rim. He can make some noise in this contest too. McClung for me.
I'm just taking Jacob Toppin. But last but not least, we'll change it up a little bit. Cars turning left, Daytona 500. Ben, who you got?
I'm going with Jimmy Johnson.
Colton.
It's Daytona. Anyone has a chance, but I got to go with my man, Chase Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia. I'm manifesting that he's going to win his first Daytona 500 this year.
For me, it's Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace.
Finally gets it done, Mr. Super Speedway.
Mr. Super Speedway. He's been close in all of those for sure.
2-time runner-up in the 500.
Yeah, I could see it. I'd love it. It'd be great. Yep. The emotion would be incredible. But yeah, so that's all we got. Thank you, Ben, for joining us. Thank you, as always, Josh, for running the show. And be sure to go check out the Not So Small Talk show, The Raid. 2 great podcasts. The Raid's having some great guests. We just got camera working for the Not So Small Talk, so hopefully we'll get that going here soon for us so you can see our beautiful faces. But for the Norse Benchwarmers podcast, that is all. Thank you for listening.